Thanks for being with us. Trucking the truth every day. I'm your Godzilla of the truth in Virginia. Let's get to Brian Cannon, and he's working very hard on redistricting. And right now, Brian, we've got state senators that are in contempt of court. What's going on?
Kind of waking up to how the party process and the conventions are rigged, right? Similar to how people are starting to realize that.
Right.
The same is true for how they draw these districts. The parties have rigged these elections, and so our votes really matter a lot less, if at all. And we don't have people to vote for. And what's happening now is we're sponsoring a lawsuit that's suing both Republicans and Democrats for this. We're bipartisan. And the Democrats in the Senate, because the Democrats gerrymandered the Senate in Virginia last time around, they're refusing to turn over documents. The court ordered them to do so, and on top of refusing to, they said, hold us in contempt of court. And as far as I know, no sitting state senator has ever been held in contempt of court in Virginia. This is pretty egregious. I mean, if you're just a regular Joe and you get held in contempt of court, you might be, facing some time in the pokey. In this case, they're only going to face fines. But those fines are going to be paid or allowed to be paid by taxpayer dollars. So it's quite a show.
So what are they in contempt of court for?
For willfully disregarding the court's order. The court ordered them to turn over documents to the attorneys just for discovery purposes, not even for what's going into trial, but just to say, hey, look, you guys did the redistricting in 2011, turn over the documents related to that. It's pretty standard stuff in a lawsuit. They asserted that they have legislative privilege to not turn over some things. The court made a nuanced ruling on that, and they didn't like the nuance. And so it was like we're in the second inning of a baseball game, and the umpire made a ruling, and they're packing up and going home.
All right, so Brian, let me get this straight. The court is looking into how the state Senate districts in Virginia were divvied up the last time the redistricting happened, right?
Yes.
And they asked for internal communications between state senators, both Republicans and Democrats, right?
Well, the court didn't ask for that. We asked for a broad base of that. The court said if it's between a state senator and another state senator, or between a state senator and his or her staffer, that's protected by privilege.
Right.
But what's not is if they send it up to the Democratic National Committee or some outside consultant or something like that, that stuff isn't protected, and that's what we're after.
So that's what you're after. And so let's break this down. One, the reason they're not complying, what they're saying, and then number two, what we think the real reason is, because it's certainly not what they're saying.
Hey, look, you're onto the truth here. Yeah. So what they're
That's
saying
because I'm the
is,
Godzilla of truth in Virginia, Brian. Didn't you know that?
Yeah. I've heard it. Somebody said that before.
Thank you.
So the reason they're saying is they disagree with the scope of legislative privilege that the court found, and that this is their only path is to be held in contempt of court, to go around and appeal to the state Supreme Court and get a second bite at the apple on this ruling. So they're saying that, and they're saying their communications need to be protected. They're citing another case that's going on regarding health care or something like that, with constituents emailing them sensitive information and saying, oh, I have this kind of medical condition, and Senator so-and-so, please help fix the law to protect me and my family on this, something like that. Now, that's a valid point, but it's totally different than what we've got. And we've even offered, and this is how we know it's kind of a front for this. We've even offered to put the documents they turn over to us under a protective order, so that I can't come on your show and read Senator Dick Saslaw's dirty laundry, right? I understand them not wanting to do that, but we're looking for stuff to understand exactly how they did it last time around, how they rigged the system, and if they did that, well, we know they did, and it's what's admissible in court. So we're not even talking about documents that would become public. We're not talking about violating anybody's privacy or anything like that. We're just talking about simply, are you willing to even let us know what you said or what you did?
Facing contempt of court charges, Brian, you could
jail.
be
Yeah,
incarcerated in jail, and you stay in a holding cell at the local jail until you comply with the court's demand. And I can speak from experience because it happened to me one time. I wouldn't divulge a source in Atlanta. And, if the judge gets mad, you really have no choice until finally things work out for you. So if I was one of these Republican state senators faced with contempt, I would tell them what my lawyer told me. When you go to the hearing, bring a toothbrush.
Well, let me be clear about the partisanship here, because we're a bipartisan organization, but we're going to call them as we see them. In this case, we subpoenaed a bunch of documents from a number of senators.
Right.
There are 5 sitting senators that asked for, when they went to the hearing last week and said, Your Honor, we'd like you to do something else. The judge said no. 4 of those state senators still said, all right, you said no, we're going to be held in contempt of court. The one state senator, and those 4 were Democrats. They were Dick Sassloff, George Barker, Dave Marsden, and John Edwards. The one state senator that's actually complying with the court order that said, look, I tried, I lost, the judge made a ruling, we're going to live with it, and we'll fight another day if he disagrees with what's going on, is Richard Stewart. And Senator Stewart's a Republican from Montrose, and he just said, look, I'm a lawyer. This is silly. I'll turn over the documents, and we can have a discussion about what's admissible later. That's what should happen. I mean, that's how this process is supposed to work. And if they really think it's a problem, then they can save it for appeal later when they lose this case this September, because we're going to win this case too, because the truth has a way of finding its way out.
So, Brian, let's bottom line this thing. So we get these emails going back and forth to different entities. You're trying to FOIA it, get to the bottom of it. Nobody will turn it over. And the reason is because they're afraid that people are going to see how they try to make deals with each other to rig the system so that it became essentially the Incumbent Protection Act. Am I right?
You're right on there, John. I mean, they do. Let me narrow down into very specifics on this. When Bryce Reeves wanted to, which he was a board of supervisors, he was a conservative member of the Spotsylvania Board of Supervisors, and he was looking to run for state senate against a longtime sitting state senator there in Fredericksburg. The Democrats knew that was the case, and they went in and took a neighborhood that was otherwise in that Senate district, and they carved out just a few houses that were otherwise in that district. The neighborhood was fully in it. It was fully in the district. They carved out a couple of houses, and one of those houses had the Reeves family in it, because they didn't want Bryce Reeves to run against that. Now, in comical Democratic fashion, they carved the wrong Reeves family out of the district. They missed. So Bryce Reeves is now our state senator up there, and a huge redistricting reform supporter, because he knows exactly how nefarious and how personal this rigging of the elections is.
Well, okay, but then once he got to be an incumbent, he turned around 12 months ago before his Senate reelection and tried to make a change and get Republican neighborhoods in his district in exchange for Democratic precincts in Craig Deeds' district. So as soon as he
became to clean up some split precincts.
As soon as he became an incumbent, he did the same thing, right? So when he was wait, Brian, I mean, it's got to be equal opportunity abuse, okay?
Oh, it is.
To all these guys. Because Reeves, when he was an outsider, and I want everybody to understand this, Bryce Reeves, good guy, running for lieutenant governor, state senator for Fredericksburg, good guy. When he was on the outside looking in, okay, he was very upset when the Democrats tried to carve him out of a district that they thought would be vulnerable to him, right? But the Democrats screwed up. Reeves rose, holy hell, okay? He becomes an incumbent. 4 years later for his reelection, he tries to do the same thing, and Craig Deeds told him, no way. So, you know what? It's just as soon as they get in there, I don't care what party it is, Brian, that's the problem. These guys get in, and it's the Incumbent Protection Act. And if you get these emails, I would love to see the dialogue that's going back. I think it would be very revealing.
Oh, yeah. I think so. And let me because you got to follow the money on all these things, right?
Absolutely.
So here's the deal. The Attorney General has the obligation to defend these cases, and the Attorney General's office is stepping in and defending these cases. But the House of Delegates and the Senate have also hired outside counsel. Now, who do you think pays for that outside counsel? We do, as taxpayers. We not only pay for the Attorney General to do his job, we also are paying for the outside counsel to double up. And who do you think the judge fined each senator $100 a day until they comply per senator, right? So that's about $5,000 a week. Who do you think pays that fine as well? We do as taxpayers. It's outrageous.
The whole thing is a scam. Keep fighting. Brian, and keep reaching out to me. It's easy to talk about other things, but this is absolutely critical. We're out of time. I want to thank Brian Cannon, Executive Director, One Virginia 2021, for being with us, and also my new Twitter follower, Delegate Cherry Mandering. This is the John.
You can find us at 1VA2021 on Twitter or on Facebook at One Virginia 2021. John, thanks so much, man.
This is the John Fredericks Radio Network.